Hello, Sandra Embleton here, and this is a message for goddesses out there. When I make these videos, I can stare into the camera and I see myself. And I'm looking at my reflection. And I'm saying to myself, I am beauty. I am the goddess. I am the expression of Venus energy. Aphrodite, love. I am all these things, and yet how come I don't feel it, and how come I don't know it? How come I've allowed the influences that are in the matrix to determine my worth and my beauty? That if I don't look like I'm 120 pounds and 5 foot, 10, and this is my cup size, and this is all these things. So if I meet these qualifications, you're beautiful, and the men will seek after you, and we'll make so many movies with you in it if you're thin and beautiful. And we will do all these things if you can just make that your primary goal, is to be beautiful physically. And there are beautiful women in the world. There are so many beautiful women in the world. But if you're a beautiful woman and a goddess and you don't fit that mold, where do you go? Within. Within. So my awakening to my goddess self and who I am as a goddess has to happen in here first. What if I've been a goddess all along and I just didn't know it? Like when I do a video, I want the house clean so the energy can move. Right? So I can be free, I can express. So if things are clean, my mind is clean, and I feel like I can receive now. There's an empty space I've created. And so the nature deploys a vacuum, and so it fills it in with energy. So if you create energy in your home, and it's clean, and you feel you can freely move in it, you're creating a vacuum so wisdom can come in. So when you're doing your prayers, meditations, or your rituals, or your readings, or your centering, or your meditation, and you're in your home and you're in your space, I always function best when it's calm. I wait till the house is clear till I do my videos. How do I know I'm the goddess? I'm you and you're me. I'm just going to plant that seed. I'm you and you're me. And when you can see my absolute goddess beauty, it's because I can see it. And if I can't see my absolute goddess beauty and who I am and how I'm perfection in my imperfection, then you can't see it. So I have to be the first to transmit that, don't I? Out of my being. How can you recognize beauty? Well, if you can't match the vibration of beauty, you can't. So if you're trying to be beautiful in the presence of people who are low vibrating, what do they see? Oh, your hair's thinning. Oh, your lips are too thin. Oh, you're heavy. Oh, your teeth, whatever fault they want to look at and see is what is in themselves. Because they can't behold anything of a higher vibrational frequency. They can only see the attributes in you that exist in themselves, depending on the vibration, because at a low vibration you can only receive so much wisdom and knowledge. So if you keep seeing the ugliness in yourself, it'll just keep showing up in all the people around you. But now if you make the decision to go inside, and then you say, well, ask the question, how can I be a goddess? How can I be a goddess in this time if I don't look like this? But the people that associate you with being a goddess because of how you look don't see the beauty in themselves, so don't play to that. What you want to do is play to your heart. You play to what is in your heart. So I want to go in my heart, and what's in the deepest part of me, in the deepest part of the heart of the goddess, what exists there? If we go so deep into our heart, if we do it together, breathing in, closing your eyes, and just, hey, let's just go into our hearts. So you go into yours, I'll go into mine, same heart anyway, but we'll get into that later. But go into your heart, and what is the goddess? What does she desire? What does the goddess desire? What is her deepest desire? To be discovered. Because the Holy Grail exists within our hearts. And that beautiful treasure, that beautiful woman, the one that King Arthur would send his knights out in order to discover. Men lost their lives trying to find her. Armies were fought over her. Ooh, she must be beautiful. Well, she is. She's beautiful because she's their connection to God. You become when you go into the heart of every goddess, she just wants to be seen for who she is and loved. Isn't that true? I have to think about that. So if that's my deepest desire, to be discovered, isn't it up to you to discover that's who you are? The Holy Grail is that essence of a goddess that knows her beauty. There you go. When you know your beauty, you transform into that grail and men seek you out. But what radiates from that beauty and what activates that energy and calls the knights to you is the love of God. The Templar knights who protected the Grail loved God above all, above king and country, king, queen, and country. The knights of old loved God. And the beauty of God that exists in a goddess or exists in a woman really says to all men, I'll love you no matter what. In your imperfections, in your idiosyncrasies, in your failings, and in your accomplishments, I am committed to stay behind you and live my life with you. But you must honor that you have been chosen to be loved by God through me. And then the knight offers to protect her, keep her safe. So it's honoring one another and going into that deep, deep level beyond what a goddess who knows she's beautiful, who allows the love of God into her heart. And it is the beauty of God that exudes through her. She now becomes the virgin vessel of the love of God. And that love of God can now radiate out from her. So if my intention is to be that vessel and say, Lord, choose me to speak through, then He will seek you out. God will seek you out to speak through you. And I guess it's the sacrifice that the feminine goddess makes is to allow herself to be used for the good of God. And that's what makes her beautiful, is when she recognizes, wow, I know God. And I've been working really hard to be one of the vessels He uses to speak to everybody through. And that's been my primary goal and intention for years and years and years and years. And I'm saying I want to be that vessel. I want to be that voice for God on the planet, so that when people see the goddess, the beauty, when they can see that in me, then they'll realize, oh, God's speaking through this goddess here. And how does he know that? I think she has to love him up to God. I think whatever condition we find the men in our life, that when you find a man with a good heart, you want to work with them, because all the other stuff can be lifted in frequency and come into consciousness and cleared. But you just want to find that mirror, that, I'm going to say twin flame, but it's that person who mirrors God for you. And then you spend your time being that vessel for God, that voice for God, allowing God's love to come through you to another individual. And no matter how broken that man is, no matter if he's been abused, if he's addictive, if he's got major issues, anger issues, and I'm not saying at any point that it is okay for that anger to be on you at any time. It's not. It's to be conducted in a safe environment where that anger can be released. And that when he comes to you, it's with the knowledge that he wants to talk to God, so he's going to talk to his woman. I need to talk to God. We'll go in and look in the eyes of your partner, your goddess partner, and she'll mirror God to you. Just look in her eyes, and you look in each other's eyes. Now, if you are finding that people in your life cannot look at you in the eye, what are they saying? They're saying, I can't face my God. I can't look deep in your eyes, because your eyes are the soul, my soul, the soul of God. And if I stop what I'm doing and I actually have eye contact with you, I'm going to see myself in your eyes. I'm going to see God in your eyes. And that scares so many men, people, women too. But we're talking about men and women here, and that fear that and the anger most men carry, and it's been my deduction over working with different individuals over the years, that what condition that exists in the world that is most men are angry, and most men are fearful, and most men have been shut down. Their inner child is hurting, and they're wounded from their childhood. And yet, what God seems to be bringing to me are the broken vessels, so that I may love them into health and wholeness and take them to God. Now, that's the job of a goddess. That is the job, the primary job, really, of Mary Magdalene, wouldn't you think? Isn't she the one that brings about the resurrection? And the Holy Grail strength is that whatever man comes to her, she is so strong and powerful in her love and belief of God that it heals them. They look into her eyes and they see God, and it heals them. That transference of frequency energy actually heals and sends them on a healing journey. And their journey, any knight that's brought to the Grail, that finds the Grail, that finds the reflection of love in the eyes of their goddess, they're off on a quest to find themselves. They're off on a quest to find the God in themselves. So they can go off into the land and find themselves and find their God. And when they come back home, it's like God's never been gone. God's been there all the time. Exactly where you are, waiting for you to wake up to that fact. And it's taking me right back to the Wizard of Oz, where at the very end of the show, Glinda says to Dorothy, you could always have returned home at any time you wanted to. And she said, well, why wouldn't you tell me that? And she said, I couldn't. You had to learn it for yourself. Wow, eh? And if that's what we're going through right now, when the goddess ignites, the goddess becomes the empty vessel, the grail, the empty cup. She becomes that so that she can fill herself up with God. The grail fills herself up with God. And then whoever comes and drinks from that chalice, who comes and drinks from her eyes, sees her beauty, is restored. God, he becomes restored in God. And that's the journey, that's the battle, that's what we're all fighting down here for. It's the whole big adventure right now. You must find yourself in God. I'm going to make another video and I will address that. Right now, it just seemed to come through me to speak to the goddesses out there, and what it is to be a goddess. And actually, I think many of us are. We just have to awaken to it. A goddess does her hair and does her makeup, and she puts on jewelry. She makes herself beautiful, and she has flowers, and she has sacred crystals, and she has a home where people can come in and feel relaxed and welcome. Welcome home. Welcome home to God. Hold that space, goddesses. Hold that space and move into that awareness of frequency that you hold the light of God in your heart and it shines out of your eyes. And that when you look and see somebody, that eye contact is a return to God. And send love. That's the thing. Is you send love, but it's not your love. It's not your judgy love that says, "Oh, I'm not going to love you because you didn't take out the garbage, and you didn't do this. You just shouldn't have said that to me." And, that's not that kind of love. It's the love of God that you emanate. You emanate the actual love of God that you have in your heart. So it's not your love. So you can just let it come through you. Just like when I made this video, it's you go ahead and have the courage to sit in front of the camera, Sandra, because you can make the spirit manifest physically. And so when you sit in front of the camera, I can speak through you. And that's the agreement I have with God when I make my videos. And today I'm on my knees going, okay, this is a big video, but something's come through today that's maybe everything is. I don't know. And I just know it's important. And I was getting messages all week about what this is going to be about. And this is part of it. And I didn't even know this was coming out. This is what makes this fun. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the next video. And if you're a follower of mine, you know I shoot like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in a row. Whatever, it can change today. It could be just be one. I'm not sure. But no, I'm hearing another one. I'm going to make another one. But that just came through, so I wanted to share it. Okay. Love you, goddesses. Be strong. Thank you.